You missed it. We only do this once a year, and you missed it. Let me tell you what you might have missed. If you have heard me talking about making 2025 your best year yet, we had an entire conversation about this at the beginning of the week, and it was such an epic conversation to have about making 2025 your best year yet. We only do this call once a year. We had about 80, 90 people on this call jumping in and out, giving us feedback, talking through it. But I don't want you to actually miss anything. So we actually recorded this call, and I want you to still be a part of it. So let me give you a little bit of background that might be really interesting for you, especially going into next year. If you break your business down into 4 different categories, these categories are not things that I just pulled from air. We've worked with hundreds of artists, specifically high ticket yielding artists that have extension-based salons, hair replacement salons, salons that are offering things that are considered high ticket, that make it extremely different than running and operating inside of a traditional model. If you own one of these salons, if you're a suite renter, if you have a commission-based salon, it doesn't matter for the conversation. We are going to be talking about the 4 different frames of business that might set you up to win like you never thought you were going to win. Now, pause. Let me tell you why I'm out here in my patio. My heat is broken. I came home today from work and I walked into a house that was 56 degrees and I was like, ugh. So I'm hiding out in my outside patio, nestled by the fire so I don't fucking freeze to death. Excuse me. So I don't freeze to death. You know, I curse like a sailor. And I was sitting out here and I was like, man, let me just tell you what you might have missed. And if this happens to help you in any way, shape, or form, then I did my job. I did my due diligence. But I'm going to keep getting closer and closer to the fire because it's getting colder and colder and colder. So one thing that I want you guys to know before we just kind of get into it, this is going to be a high level overview. So we're talking maybe like 10, 15 minutes, easy. If this helps you in business, amazing. If you're like, girl, I already knew that, then amazing. Then you're already probably doing super well if you already know these things. So the first thing I want you to do is think about your business in 4 different categories. The first one is pricing and profitability. How much are you bringing in versus how much are you profiting? You're tracking numbers, you are looking at your stats, you are having conversations with your team if you have a team. If you don't have a team, then you are looking at your own numbers, knowing exactly how much you want to profit, knowing exactly what to do to make that profit, and you're not going about pricing with question marks. The question marks that I'm talking about are, I think I should charge this. I've been charging this for a long time. The economy is kind of going through a slump right now, so maybe I shouldn't raise my prices, even though my prices for my expenses have gone up. I think I'm just going to kind of eat it. If these are conversations that you're having, just know that there's a lot that you can do inside of a space when you know for sure pricing and profitability and the tactics that you need to make sure that you are literally profiting what you should be profiting inside of your business, especially because I know how hard you work inside of your damn business. That's the first frame. Second frame is going to be positioning people. And I'll give you an example for this. So for a lot of us, things have changed radically over the last, let's say like 3 to 4 years. And in those 3 to 4 years, you might have had specific clients, maybe team members, maybe a front desk person, maybe someone that's been with you for a little bit, an assistant that might be, we're not going to say that he or she is stalling to go to the next level, but sometimes people need to be repositioned inside of your business. Let me get a little bit closer. Sometimes people need to be repositioned. You don't always have to, I hate when those little hairs show. We're just going to blend that right in. It's cold, so my hair is probably like, Sometimes people do not need to be let go. A lot of times people don't need to be let go, especially initially. Do you agree that someone just needs to be potentially repositioned? Maybe the position that they were in originally is not the position that they need to be in now. Maybe things for that person have changed. Maybe things for you have changed. And ever since 2020, 2021, things have radically changed for pretty much all of us. So sometimes you need to reposition people. You need to hire for new people. You need to create positions in your business that you didn't necessarily have 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and you don't need to have a large team to do this. Sometimes you need to actually hire or reposition someone in your external team. Your external team is someone who's not necessarily an income producer or a stylist or an assistant. It could be a bookkeeper. How many of us are clutching on to the bookkeeper and to our accountant because we've just had them for years, but we literally don't know what they're sending us? We don't know how to read it. We don't schedule meetings with them. We barely know exactly what they're trying to give us. And we're like, okay, thanks. I have an accountant or I have a bookkeeper. But do they feel like they're an invested part of your business? You might need to rehire another bookkeeper that is more, let's say, beauty based. And you know that you might need to do this, but it's like in the back of your head somewhere over here, and it's not necessarily doing you any good. So that's just one example of somebody that's on an external team. Your external team might also be if you have kids and you feel like every time you need to do something or go somewhere, you're tied to your freaking car, dropping kids off left and right. Does that person work in your business? No, but you might actually need to hire someone or put yourself in a position to now have more support outside the salon versus inside the salon. And that could be a considerable external team member. When I started to think about business in this way, I was like, I actually never thought about, I'm just going to give you an example from my own background. I never thought about my mom being an external team member. I didn't. It's my mama. She wants to see her grandkids. But also, as my business required more and more from me, I literally felt like I was running out of time. I felt like I was running out of time. I felt like I was running out of energy. And I started to think about if I had a little bit of help, not sometimes, but consistent help where I had someone to watch my kids that was dependable, not because I was going out of town, not because I was going to dinner, not because I was busy, but because I actually had scheduled time that I needed to work on my business every single week. So I had a conversation with my mom that was a little different than just a daughter talking to a mom. And I said, I think I'm going to need some help, and not just a little bit, but like consistent help, maybe once a week. Would you be willing to get the kids, give me a little bit of space so I can work on things that I literally don't feel like I have enough time to work on, like every Wednesday or every other Wednesday? She said yes. We worked things out. And that was my system for 2 years. I'm sharing this with you because until somebody actually mentioned it to me, they were like, well, you're having all these problems with your time. Like, why don't you just get a sitter? I'm like, why don't I just get a sitter? It's like some of the easiest things that we can think of, we don't think of because they're a little outside the box and you're inside the box looking for a solution in the box. But really, all you have to do is look up. So, again, that's my example for something that was on my external team. But again, repositioning or positioning people inside of your business as your business changes is not something that we're great at. I mean, you let me know, are you great at that? Sometimes we get married to people, we become friends, we become close to people inside of our businesses, which is amazing. But also, if you need to reposition someone in your business, if you're just joining, I'm in front of the fireplace because my heat is not working in my house. It is cold AF in my house, and I'm probably going to sleep outside in my outdoor patio because there's a fireplace out here, and I'm actually like pretty cozy. So if you see me like inching closer and closer to the fire, it's because I'm cold. um, but again, if you are just logging in, hi, my love. We miss you. We miss you so much, my friend. You were actually out here with me during your own one-on-one Evolve experience. Can you imagine being in this room when it was like 58 degrees? It's beautiful, but she cold. So if you're just joining in, I'm talking about how to look at your business because I'm cold and I don't want to be in the house. I'm like, well, let me just talk to my people. This is something that we talked about on Monday. We had a call on Monday that went over a completely different way to look at your business. And it's really simple and it's a pretty easy 4-frame kind of a process here. So I just wanted to give you this just so you would have something to kind of go into 2025 with. The first frame is pricing and profitability. The second frame is positioning or repositioning people. So you got pricing, then you got people. The third frame is processes and systems. I'm going to get close again because my butt is getting hot. I'm a little too close to the fire. processes and procedures, or processes and systems. I'm going to simplify a system for you. A system is something that worked one time and it worked so well that you decided to put it on repeat. That's literally what I think of when I think of a system. It's a solution on repeat. You put the solution on repeat enough times for enough solutions, and all of a sudden you have a systematic machine. That's what I feel like I have inside of Garnish. Garnish is my salon. We're located in Raleigh, North Carolina. We are extensions and hair replacement focused. It's a small little petite thing. She's only about 1,300 square feet, but we have made a pretty incredible impact in our little tiny Raleigh, North Carolina, and all along the East Coast. We've had hundreds of people that have flown out to figure out how we do business, what we do, how we do it, how we're able to systemize things, how with such a small team we're able to bring in as much as we are and to be able to profit as much as we do, so we can continue to pour back into our business, to pour back into our artists. Some things I'm proud of inside of my business are that the artists on the floor have consistently brought in a really amazing six-figure salary for pretty much every single artist on the floor. That makes me feel really good as a salon owner. We've been able to offer benefits and perks for our team. We've gone to the UK for training. We've had several training classes that were just phenomenal inside of hair replacement, things that I didn't think a salon could do. We've done. And I think we've been able to do these things because of how systematic our salon runs. Can I give you another example? So one solution that we've put on repeat that's a pretty simple solution is something that helps all the artists stay more consistent. I noticed that with extension guests, everybody's journey is a little different, and it doesn't need to be extensions. It's just my example for this, something that we've systematized. I found that when things come up in conversation, they get done. If they don't happen to come up in conversation, sometimes they don't get done, which leads to inconsistency. But now you are counting on that artist, or you're counting on yourself, let's say, just general conversation for these things to come up. When's the last time that that person has had their extensions replenished? When's the last time that that person has been checked in with to see, are you still extremely happy with everything that we're doing from roots to ends? Is there anything that we can be doing better? Do you have a Pinterest board that you started and I need to see it because we need to see, do we need to make any immediate changes? When's the last time you purchased shampoo and conditioner from us? Like, was it a year ago? Was it 6 months ago? These are things we don't usually check up on, and it might feel kind of boring when I'm saying it, but let me tell you, the system that we implemented brings in so much revenue into our salon for us to be able to, again, invest it into an amazing hair stock. We have about $85,000 worth of hair inside of my salon. I don't say that proudly. I say that towards the end of the year, like, oh my God, because it gets counted. Tax time. It's not fun to have that much hair just sitting in inventory, but it does give us an amazing selection of an artist palette for us to kind of grab into and say, oh, we have such an amazing stock. Well, when people come in to visit us, they're like, how did you get all this hair? And I'm like, well, the way in which we order and the way our pricing is set up allows us the ability to continue to order hair on repeat for not only the guests, but for our stock. We have that built into our pricing. And what I was going to say as far as the systems don't have to be messy. Systems don't have to be complicated. One system, just one system that we have that works really well is something called a journey card. A journey card. Some of you that have already been through Evolve know about this journey card, but if you don't, I'll just give you a really quick crash course. A journey card, I wish I had one to kind of pull out, but it's cold in there. I can't go in there and get it, so you're just going to have to hear me out. A journey card is basically a 2-page pamphlet that I made several years ago when I noticed we were missing opportunities with guests. We were missing opportunities to give them recommendations, to ask great questions. The guests didn't really remember how long the hair was supposed to last. They didn't really remember when they needed to replace wefts. They would kind of like ride it till the wheels fell off, not on purpose, but because, you have so many guests. This is what I need to implement, a system. Yes, I agree. DM me. We'll talk. I just talked to you about this. DM me. I'm not joking. Get off the live right now and DM me. I'm waiting. Okay, I'm talking to you. So one system that we implemented is a journey card. The journey card is something that both the stylist and the client follow. When we first start the process with them, we give them this journey card. It's easy. They open it up. We're like, okay, you have a 6-week, a 7-week, and an 8-week journey that you could potentially be on. A lot of the extensions that we work with that are wefted extensions, we move up every 6 to 8 weeks. You're going to have your first initial appointment. This is what this looks like. 6 weeks later, this is what to expect as far as when you come in, the amount of time that you're probably going to be spending in here with us, and the investment. The third appointment, we're going to start to look for anything that needs to be replenished. Why? Because after the second appointment, if you're a 6-week, 7-week, or 8-week person, you would have already hit 3 months or 4 months, depending on, are you 6 to 8 weeks? If you're keeping up with me, 4 months in, you're probably going to need new hair. You're probably going to need something, a haircut, a gloss, a refresh, something. But now we actually have it on a really easy to fold, stick in your purse, pocket, here you go, beautiful card. We started passing out journey cards like this. You get a journey card, you get a journey card, you get a journey card. Let me tell you what happened when we started to pass out these journey cards. Everything. We sold more than $80,000 worth of hair, additional hair, not total, additional hair, the year that we started to pass out these journey cards. That allowed us to completely change the way our stock looked. If you had an additional $80,000 as a salon owner, we had 3 artists that were on the floor. I do not have a big team. I have a small team. I have a little boutique, like baby salon. Again, we're only 1,300 square feet. I'm starting to get cold again. I'm going to head back to the fire. Okay. Again, if you're just joining this, my heat is broken. I'm real cold, and I'm out here by the fire. So I keep on, like, I'll get really close to the fire and my butt gets hot and it feels good, but then it's too hot. So then I'm going to wiggle my way back closer to you. So this is just one system that we implemented. We're talking about me going to Kinko's and printing out 500 journey cards that probably took me about $250 the first time we printed these out. And it brought in an additional $80,000 worth of hair sales for us. Now, that's just our example. Again, your system could look very different for you. Are there things in your business that are missed because there are inconsistencies in your business? And if that's the case, clear up some of these inconsistencies. You don't need a Asana, a Trello board, a back end, somebody that needs to do coding, things that are automated. You don't need that to have a system. The system is, damn, there's a problem. I think that problem needs a solution. Oh shit, the solution worked. I'm going to make sure I do that thing every single time. So now it's part of our process to have every single solitary stylist go over the journey card with our guests the very first appointment, and then they continue to check in with that guest every single time the guest comes in, and they're like, oh, Maria, it looks like you're in for your second move-up appointment after your install. Let's go back to the journey card. I'm going to take a look. We're going to do a little diagnostic report just to see how your wefts are doing, just to see how your extensions are feeling. How's everything feeling down here? How's everything feeling up here? Okay, things are feeling good. We might not need to add hair. So I'm not saying to follow it no matter what, but the fact that it even just came up, butt's getting hot again. The fact that it came up in conversation does a couple different things. The client begins to realize that there is a system. And it's not just fly by the seat of your pants. It's not just like oh, she's asking me about it for some reason. We're talking about every single time you kind of check against where you are in your journey. That's why we call it a journey card. We've now been printing out and going over journey cards and have probably talked to at least 150 artists from all over the country about said journey card. And I'd love to know underneath this post, if you're hitting the replay or if you're watching it live, if you are one of our Past Evolve students and you have adopted this journey card as part of your process, has it been helpful for you? Has it yielded the same types of results for you? I have a question. Are we discussing all over services or just extensions and toppers? Good question. So in my example, for me, it was based around extension-based services, but we've inspired a lot of artists and salon owners to start using something like a preliminary journey card for any portion of their journey that they feel like shit is missed because they're just kind of waiting for it to come up in casual conversation. So again, for me, it is extensions based, but for you, it might be a gloss or custom color or whatever your service is. There's a journey that you want people to follow. And when you have those ideal clients and they follow it to a T, those clients are usually happier. They usually are retained longer. They trust you. They end up spending more money with your salon and also are enjoying the results that they're getting. So they're wanting to invest more into that service. It's almost like this one hand washes the other. And before you know it, you're like, if you had every guest following a specific journey where everything that they were doing was a part of the process and it was planned, to me, that just feels sexy. Systems are sexy. And this is one of those sexy systems that I didn't even know we were missing until we were missing it. But again, this is just an example to let you know that processes and procedures don't have to be super in depth. They don't have to be intimidating. You don't need a coder to go in the back end of your website to have a really freaking amazing system. Next question is also, do we keep these cards or hand them out to our guests? So we have them in our salon and they're at every single station. We have them up at the front. And we pass them out to everyone. We'll repass them out to a guest. It's like, oh my God, I don't have that little card. It's like people are looking for the answer, and the answer is in a little card that everybody follows. It keeps everybody honest. So I'm going to move on to the next frame because I promised you about 15 minutes, which really means about 25. So we're getting to the last frame. The last frame might hit for a lot of you because of the time of year that I'm filming this in, which is really close to the end of the year. The last frame is predicting what's next. Literally, what's next? What are you going to be doing? And not what's next year. Like, what's next for you? What's next? Are you going to continue to do the same thing? Did you have a stellar year? Some of you watching this had a freaking stellar year. I see who's on here. Some of you guys killed it this year. It was one of your best years. Others have a tremendous amount of growth that they went through. They felt stalled and stagnant in 2024 and went and you're having to rebuild. So predicting what's next is the last frame. The last frame of our process is literally not you wondering, like, what am I going to do? Maybe I need to do some intention setting, goal setting, vision questing. That can be a part of the process, but there's also a pretty strategic way to really look at your business. You can do a SWOT analysis of your business. And if you've never heard that, I'm not going to bore you, but like look up SWOT analysis. There's a way that you can really touch on key points in your business to see what were your profits for the business? Where were you passionate inside of your business? Did you feel a sense of purpose in your business? Did you feel aligned and connected with your business? What do you think you need to be doing next versus what do you really need to be doing next? Was your time poured in to the right portion of your business? And I'm going to get really close for this one because I think it's important as we kind of close this call up. This is not a call, this is a live. As we close this up, one of the things that I want you to consider is that your business and your life are intertwined and they are married together. If you have an amazing business on paper, but you're not able to live your life, do you really have an amazing business? And that's just real. It's just me being completely honest. When I first started Garnish, we are going into our 11th year. The way I run the business now and the way I ran the business before, on paper, when I first opened, first couple of years, it looked amazing. We were profitable. We were about 30, I'd say 25 to 30% profit, which was great. We were bringing in a little over $1 million. I hit the $1 million mark. I was a 7-figure salon within about 18 months before I tore it all apart and started everything over because I switched from traditional salon to extensions focused and then extensions exclusive. And I got rid of a lot of clients. And I said goodbye to a lot of team members, and a lot of people hated me for a really long time for making that judgment call and kind of like pivoting. But one of those things resulted in me rebuilding the business in a way that really fit for me. So I remember 2017, I felt like, fuck, on paper, this is amazing. I really like the people I'm working with. I really like the clients, but in my heart of fucking hearts, I know I'm supposed to be doing something different. Every time I have somebody come in and I'm able to transform their lives or their life, and I'm adding hair, and at this time, 2017, 2018, extensions had popped off, but they weren't like popping off like they were now. And I've been doing extensions for 17 years. So, you're already talking about somebody who had been in and trying, and like my extension journey kind of went like this. Like I was on top, then I wasn't, then I felt really insecure about it. I didn't want to post, and there were so many obstacles that I went through at this, but finally I just said, fuck it. I'm gonna fucking go. Let's fucking go. I don't care if I have to start over. I don't care if I piss people off. I don't care if I have to shut the salon down. I don't care if I'm going to lose a little bit of ego here. I want to do what makes me happy. And that's what I felt like was next for me in 2017, 2018. I tore my whole shit apart. I tore it apart. I gutted it. It was one of the scariest, it was one of the scariest things I've ever done in my entire life, to lose that much revenue, and not to lose it, to say goodbye to it. I think when you lose it, it makes it sound like, oop, boop, 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 and it just fell out of your hands. But I took a stance and said, I'm willing to take a risk, and I'm willing to bet on myself. And I want to feel really passionate about the service that I'm offering. I want to feel a sense of purpose for the people that I'm working with. And I also want to make the type of profit that will change my children's lives in the future. I want to be able to send them to the school I want to be able to send them to. I also want to be able to pick them up. I want to be able to say goodbye to the salon and hello to my kids at around 5 o'clock and not 8:30 at night. So again, on paper, there's a lot of things that were missing that I felt in my life that weren't necessarily showing up on my P&L. On my P&L, it looks like, bitch, you crazy. Why are you going to tear this business apart? But in my life, I wasn't super fulfilled. So again, predicting what's next is the last part. Now, not every year is going to be a teardown year, but if we're being real, every 3 to 5 years, what I found is that there's a transition, there's a rebuild, there's a change of heart. There's something that happens in us as artists because we're creatives, and we end up kind of leaning into these different realms of growth and evolution. And before you know it, you need to go back to the beginning of the frame and start looking at your profits again, start looking at repositioning or positioning new people. You need to look at new systems and new strategies. And then you also need to start predicting again what's next. It's cyclical. It's a compilation album, baby. It's like Mariah Carey every Christmas. She comes back up and makes another $3 to $5 million on that one damn song for the rest of all time. Her kids are going to be rich and famous off of this damn song. And I'm not mad at it, but I'm also going to get closer to the fire. If you found this helpful, if you found this to be in any way, shape, or form intriguing, leave it in the comment. If you've been to Evolve before and you are picking up what I'm putting down, and you've been in this room before when it was not 58 degrees, and these tactics have helped to change things for you, leave it in the comments. Send me any questions that you have, because I literally want to be able to answer them for you. If you start thinking about your business in this way, even with no coaching, with no training, just thinking about your business in these 4 categories, these 4 frames, this is what makes a really incredible business. For you to feel like you've mastered these 4 frames. If you want help with these 4 frames, that's literally what our call ended on. We have something called the 7-figure framework. Hey, I see a lot of people clapping. We have something called the 7-figure framework, and each frame is 6 weeks long, and it is a devoted 6 weeks into just that frame and just that category. The first one that we have kicking off, this is our 2nd year doing it, and we've gotten such tremendous feedback. This was our very first virtual experience. And I didn't want pre-recorded calls. I didn't want evergreen content. I didn't want for you to like join us and be led by modules. I want to be able to show up and talk to you. I want to look at your numbers with and for you. So we keep these groups small, somewhere around 15 to 20 people. We had about, I think, 16 or 17 people in the pricing and profitability frame at the beginning of this year when we first rolled this out. We actually retired a very popular in-person experience to replace it with a virtual experience, but I wanted the virtual experience to feel different. I'm tired of people going to cookie cutter classes about business and profits where everything is already lined up. Here's your PDF printout. This is what you should be charging. Your business should be yielding 20% profits. Here's how much you should pay yourself. How can you give somebody the answer to that? How can you give somebody the answer to that? They're in a different demographic as the person right beside them. They offer different services. Their services are different price points. They have a different threshold for employees, commission rates. They're in different states. We've had people from different countries come and visit us. Like, how can everybody be just doing the same thing? The answer is you can't. So inside of this program, the reason why we have a cutoff is to make sure that we can have you submit information. This is not just us teaching you. You're going to be giving us information about your salon. You have to be candid. You have to be a little vulnerable, about this much. You have to be willing to share information in a small private group. And because everybody has invested to be there, we have, I'm going to say this with as much class as I can. We have an ability to bootstrap your business in a way that I've never seen before. I wanted someone to literally sit beside me. I'm like, hey, I'm going to pull up my numbers. I need for you to look at these numbers with the expert eyes that you have. You still, okay, we're still here. Look at my shit. Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me where the gaps are. Tell me where I need to work on things. And I'm willing to do the work, just like you're willing to do the work. But I'm needing some support, and I need you to look at my numbers. So inside of this frame, you're going to be submitting to us as much information as you feel comfortable to. I have my own personal CFO that I've worked with for a decade that looks over everybody's P&L, general ledger, and balance sheet. We give you an actual audit to look through all of your numbers and to tell you what your business looks like on paper, and then help you come up with a plan to put your business in a much more profitable space than you are right now, if need be. We had a couple people that submitted their P&Ls, and we were like, we have looked in every nook and cranny. We've asked you questions. Your business is super healthy. The financial literacy of your business and how it's reading on paper looks amazing. But why don't you have any cash flow? Let's start digging into it. Like, we are some super sleuth detectives, and you are going to be able to say that you have gotten a true rooter to the tutor, rooter to the tutor business audit. That's what's coming up in January. So that's the very first frame, and each frame is 6 weeks long. The very first frame is coming up, I believe it's January 20th. I might have just lied to you. I'm going to have to send you to the link in my bio so you could see when the call is. But I do know it's starting in January, and they're always going to be on Mondays, the calls. In 6 weeks, we have 3 calls. So we have the kickoff call, we have a follow-up call, and then we have an end cap call. And yes, there's going to be, yes, January 20th. Somebody kept me honest. Thank you so much. The people that have already joined are like, bitch, it's the 20th. Thank you for that, friends. So we kick off on the 20th. Something to just kind of keep in mind, put it in your pocket. I'm going to put it in this little tiny pocket right here. The kickoff call is 6 hours. It's 6 hours. But we're going to send you a box of goodies, and it's not just a box of like energy drinks. Like, we're literally going to send you a box to, I said, I don't know how I'll afford this, but I need it desperately. Like, so did I. That's where my education comes from, I needed this when I was moving in the direction of trying to become more profitable. And I'm like, I can take courses, I can download modules, I can sign up, but like one 45-minute call every other week for the next 6 months, like, sure, I'll get there, but like, wouldn't it be nice to start this at the end of January, and by March, by spring, things are feeling lighter, things are feeling freer, things are feeling like you can move a little bit. Now, this is a disclaimer. You're going to have to track things. We're going to give you homework. You're going to have to submit things to us. You are going to be an active part of your own success. We're not just going to do all the work for you. We're going to partner with you and do this with you on behalf of the success in your business. So you have to show up, friend. You have to give us the information. You have to track the numbers so that you can actually look at the numbers on that follow-up call. We take the first 3 weeks of every frame and we track data. And it gets real spicy after the first frame because then we're tracking people, performance, personalities. Like when you start tracking, because that's really the format that we follow for every frame, we track for the first 3 weeks, then we have a follow up, and then we implement the last 3 weeks. So this 6 weeks is cut in half. The first 3 weeks might feel a little like, okay, I'm tracking. Oh shit, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm still tracking. Damn, I didn't know we actually, okay, that's good to know. And then girl or guy, at the 3 week mark when we have this follow up, and again, the follow up is not 6 hours, the follow up is only 2 hours. So it's a 6 hour call, a 2 hour call, then a 2 hour call. The 6 hour call is literally where we roll it all out. And again, we're sending you a Evolve goodie box with everything. Hey, friend, I'm so excited to start this with you. We send you an Evolve goodie box that's going to help you with the 6 hour call. We're going to send you a DoorDash for lunch. We are going to make this as elevated and as amazing as it can be virtually. We're going to give you breaks. We're going to do some partner work. Like, it's going to be a really, really awesome call. But then for that next week, you have homework. Second week, you have homework. You're submitting things to us. We're talking to you. It's not just boom, 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 and then it's done. If this sounds like something that you want to be a part of, I just changed my link. And at the time of this call, if we still have open space, we have just a few spaces left. Again, there's a cutoff for this particular frame because we're giving you feedback on your P&L, your balance sheet, all the other things that you're going to be submitting to us. And we can't do this for 50 people. We can do it for 15 to 20 though. So if this sounds like something that you want to be a part of, we have a cutoff. It's either once the class is sold out, and we're close to that now, or December 31st. And by the way, okay, this is the last time I'm going to scoot close to this. This is the tea. If you're watching the playback after Friday, what is today's date? Hold on. I want to put this date out there. Let's see. Okay. It is Wednesday, December 4th today. So that means that Thursday is December 5th and Friday is December 6th. So if you're watching this playback after December 6th, you have missed it. You can still sign up for the framework, but you have missed this portion of it. So if you're with me, stay tuned. If you sign up for the framework, okay, if you sign up for the framework and you happened to be on Monday's call, so this is not for everybody, but if you happen to be on Monday's call and you were live with us, if you purchased the framework and you were on Monday's call, and I know some of you were, we are doing a drawing to give you a creator's kit. Yes, if you happen to purchase the framework and we pull your name out, not only do you get a frame complimentary, but we're going to send you a creator's kit. The creator's kit is going to have my own personal tool that I freaking love. Let me get it because it's actually right here. This little baby has changed pretty much everything for me. Everything for me. This is an Osmo Pocket 3. She's my favorite. I have 2 of them. This is a gimbal, and it has been so extremely helpful for me to create content and for that content to look amazing. So again, this is not for everybody, and I hate to put this on the live because if you were like, I missed the call, I'm sorry. But there's a lot of you that were on the call. Like I said, we had, I think, like 80, 90 people on that call. So if somebody's watching this live, you have 48 hours to pull the trigger. And if you do, that will enter you into this amazing opportunity to potentially win a frame complimentary. And each frame is $2,500, and we offer payment plans. So if you take all 4 frames with us over the course of the year, you will end up spending 10 grand. You will. However, my goal is for the return on this investment to be tenfold. If you're spending $10,000 with us, are you able to receive a return of 100K? And I know that sounds big, but like I was telling you earlier with the journey card example, that was one system, and it ended up yielding us that much more, like $80,000 more. And again, I'm just telling you, like, I'm advantageous with this shit. Like, if you tell me how high, I'm going to jump. If you tell me what I need to do, I'm going to do it. Even if it's scary, I've been known to say, if you're scared to do it, just do it fucking scared. Just do it. Like, do the damn thing. Do the fucking work. Go the distance. Make the investment. If you're going to invest in this, do the work. Don't be in the back of the class thinking, oh my God, I'm so busy. If you're so busy, then don't invest in it. If you're not going to track, if you're not going to submit, if you're not going to submit, that sounded weird without me adding the other part. If you're not going to submit your numbers and you're not going to be an active participant, then maybe sit this round out and come at us next year, or maybe hit us with the people frame that's coming up in March. But this gives you an opportunity to pick your pleasure. So if you know that you probably don't need, let's say, financial help, if your financials are great and you are profitable and you're sitting pretty, amazing. But let's say the people inside of your business are making you tear your hair out. You love them, but you don't know what to do with them. Or maybe it's super stressful, or the culture is weird, or you can't seem to hire, or you hire the wrong people, or maybe the people that you have were the right people until they weren't. If those are seemingly some of the challenges, you might want to sit out the first frame and then sign up for the second frame, which is positioning people. We put this in a way where you can invest as much or as little time, energy, and money as you possibly need, which is why we ended up retiring another process or another course that we had to give people a little bit more wiggle room financially to see what's going to be the best fit. Where do I need to apply the most pressure? And yes, we have had people in this past frame with us this year that signed up for all 4 frames at once. And then we had some people that just thought they were going to come in for one frame. At the end of that frame, they were like, when does the next one start? I'm like, you're going to join us for the next one? She's like, I mean, I fucking can't not. Like, this was so helpful. Like, now I see okay, now I need that one. So you can sign up as you go. You definitely do not have to sign up all at once. But I will tell you, it's addictive. When you start to see your business in this way, it's almost like you have this clairvoyance. You can start to see things that you just can't unsee. Okay. So now my butt is hot again, and I promised I wasn't going to continue to jump back and forth. I hope this was helpful. Whether you sign up for a frame or not, that's besides the point. I wanted to bring you this so that you can start to look at your business in this way. And again, once you start looking at it in this way, it's hard to not see it in this way. So DM me, let me know if you have questions. I'll just be curled up here by the fire for the rest of the night until the HVAC guy comes in the morning. Okay, bye.